Throughout the height of the lockdown in 2020, I became so anxious that I only left the house once in 10 weeks. And when I say left the house, I mean I didn't go outside, not even into my own garden. I think there were a lot of things that contributed to me getting to that point. I wasn't happy in my job. I, like a lot of people, was really worried about the constant uncertainty that the entire world faced. And that made worse issues that I already had that had gone unaddressed because I've been functioning with my anxiety for so long with no major issues. Towards the end of 2020, I started therapy, and after 6 months of that and then the year that followed, I've picked up tips, tricks and routines to prevent me ever reaching that point that I did in 2020 again. In this video, I'm going to share those tips and tricks that have helped me in hopes that it'll help someone else watching this. Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin and welcome to Twig. At Twig, we discuss all things personal development with videos to help you achieve more success but with less stress. So if that sounds like something you're into, then please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell to be one of the first to find out when my new videos go live. Hope you all enjoy the new setup today. I thought I'd go for a bit more of a casual vibe, so I'm not sat at my desk like I am usually. I've got a coffee, I've got my comfy clothes on, so let me know what you think to this kind of energy for the videos. Also, this is not my usual voice. I've had some kind of chest infection and it's not completely better yet, so just bear with me. The first thing I did to help calm my anxiety was journaling. And I've always journaled throughout my life, but I used to use it more of a record to look back on in the future rather than a tool to inspect my thoughts and how I was feeling. So rather than writing structured accounts of what was happening in my life at the time, I started free writing just whatever came into my mind at that moment in time. I don't know about other people, but for me, sometimes I can be anxious and not really know or understand why, but journaling in this informal, free and unstructured way helped me to unpick my thoughts and my feelings and figure out what the original cause of my anxiety was. I usually start off with how I'm feeling in that very moment, what I might be worrying about, when I realised that my mood had changed and what was happening in my life at the time. And through doing that, I was able to identify the triggers and the causes for my declining mood. When I understood the triggers of my anxiety, I was able to address them at the time that they actually happened, rather than leaving them until they'd nibbled away at me until the point where I was struggling to get out of bed. If you're thinking about getting into journaling, but you don't have a clue where to begin, then watch this video where I talk you through how to get started. If you'd like a separate video on journal prompts and maybe a journal with me kind of video, then just let me know. The second thing I started doing to reduce my anxiety was gratitude. I compare myself to other people a lot. I mentioned in my fixed and growth mindset video that seeing other people's success can often discourage me rather than motivate me, which is something I'm still working on. I'm going to give you an analogy now about comparison, and you might not see where it's going at first, but just stick with me. When I was young, I used to do swimming galas, and every time I swam a race, I'd be swimming along in my lane, and there'd always be a point in the race where I thought, ooh, I wonder where everyone else is, I wonder if I'm winning. And I used to just turn my head and look both sides and just have a look around me, see where everyone else was, to find out how well I was doing by comparing myself against them. But by doing that, I slowed myself down because I had that momentary lapse in focus on my own technique to focus on everybody else's. And because of that, I only ever won bronze. And I know that if I literally just managed to pull my focus onto my own lane for the entire race, I would have won a gold. That is what comparison does to us in life. We look around to see where other people are and compare ourselves to them. But all it does is slow us down and stops us becoming what we are capable of becoming. Gratitude helps me keep my eyes on my lane only. It helps me appreciate what I have, how far I've come, and it even makes me excited for how far I've got left to go. If you want to learn more about gratitude and how to get started with it, then watch this video where I set out a step-by-step guide on where to begin. The next thing I do to help reduce my anxiety is routine and planning. And I know lots of people aren't fans of routine. They don't like planning because nothing's spontaneous and it's a structured fun. But it was through going to therapy that I realised that I get anxious when I don't feel in control of a situation. I'm very uncomfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty. So by focusing on what I can control, for example my routine and planning what I'm going to do the next day, it helps me to feel more in control of my life and it settles my mind. If you watched my time management video up here, you'll know that I have a daily planner that I use to time block my day. I also set myself daily, weekly and monthly goals along with my longer term goals, and that helps me to stay on track. If I ever have a week where I let this slip, I start to feel unorganised and chaotic, and then I get more or anxious. Routines help settle my mind and calm me down. I have a morning and a nighttime routine that help me to feel like I've started and ended the day right, despite what happened in the middle that I can't control. The biggest tip that I could give you to reduce your anxiety is to focus on the things in your life that you can control. Don't focus on the past, you can't change it. Don't focus on the future because it hasn't happened yet. Focus on the present moment and what you're doing right now, because that is all that you can control. The next thing I do to help reduce my anxiety is cleaning and tidying. Things being untidy and dirty is another thing that makes me feel chaotic. So cleaning and tidying is another task that helps me to feel in control of my environment. Now, please don't take this to mean that I've got an absolutely pristine house and everything's in place, because that is not the case at all. I wish it was. At the minute, I'm in the process of putting systems in place so that every single item I own has a place where it lives and it can be put back in, which will hopefully eventually mean that clutter doesn't gather everywhere and it'll be easier to tidy up when it does get messy. If you want to know more about how I'm doing this, then have a look at my organisation video linked up here. I somewhat naively thought that this entire process would take me 2 weeks, and that has not been the case, but there's still some really good tips in there to help you organise your environment. The next thing that I do to reduce my anxiety is self-care and self-compassion. Self-care is a massive thing for me. If all else has failed and I notice that I'm really anxious, I get my self-care menu out. I shared this on TikTok recently, so if you're on there, I'll link my account below. Give me a follow because I post on there daily, but I'll just go and get it because I forgot to bring it in. It's in here. I really like inspirational quotes, but I like this quote even more. This is my self-care menu. It's pretty basic. So I've got 3 sections, 5 minutes, 30 minutes and 1 hour plus. And then I've got activities underneath each one that I know already make me feel better, that take that period of time. So for 5 minutes, I might do deep breath in, hold, deep breath out for 5 minutes. Or make myself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Star jumps to wake me up, 30 minutes, read a few chapters of a good book, go for a walk, or write in my journal. And 1 hour plus, this is if I'm feeling not great, I've got a bit of time on my hands and I need to give myself a bit of self-care to perk me back up again. Have a bubble bath, or I might watch a film, or I might go to the gym, which I plan to do most days anyway, but it doesn't always happen that way. So that's a good tip to try out. Make yourself a self-care menu. It takes 5 minutes to do, and whenever you feel like you're in need of a bit of self-care, just look down your menu, decide how much time you've got, how much you need the self-care, and choose one of your activities and just do it. It makes you feel better afterwards. In particular, last night I was feeling anxious. Didn't really know why, and so I thought I'm going to run myself a bubble bath. I've not had one for a while and I really enjoyed them and they really relaxed me. I got in the bath and must have spent about an hour and a half in there, and I just used the time to unpick my thoughts. Why was I anxious? What had I been doing that day? What had I not been doing? I did a bit of journaling in my notes app on my phone, just writing down how I was feeling, and I managed to uncover that the reason that I wasn't feeling so good was because I'd not been following my structure. I'd not been following my routines that I'd set for myself over the past few days, and I was starting to feel chaotic and stressed, and that was making me feel anxious and also guilty for not sticking to the goals that I'd set for myself. So this is where the self-compassion comes in. It is normal to not always be productive. We have ups and downs, peaks and troughs as humans, and we're not always our best selves. So before I did all of this learning about myself, I would have been really nasty to myself. I would have been calling myself lazy in my mind. I would have been getting myself really down about the fact that I'd not been following the systems that I'd agreed with myself. But you should talk to yourself like someone you love. You should talk to yourself in your mind like you would to your close friend. Give yourself the same compassion that you would give to anybody else, because you deserve it. And so instead of getting mad at myself, I thought, no, this happens. I'm in a trough. I can pull myself back up into a peak. So I got out of the bath, I laid out my gym clothes for the next day, and I got my planner out and I wrote my schedule down for the next day. And today I've stuck to it and I feel a lot better for it. I really hope that some of the tips in today's video have helped you think of new ways to help reduce your anxiety. If you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know. I really appreciate any engagement that you can give this video, because that means that YouTube will push it out and I'll have the opportunity to help more people. If you want to see more videos like this, then please subscribe to my channel and tap the notification bell to be one of the first to find out when my new videos go live. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on Tuesday.